You've stood in those endless queues at Tirumala. You've heard about the richest temple in the world. But do you know the divine saga that created it all? Today I am revealing the complete divine saga. A story so extraordinary that it connects cosmic separation to your personal prayers. And there's a twist at the end about that cosmic loan that will shock you. Before we begin, hit subscribe because what you're going to hear comes directly from the Varaha Purana and the Bhavishottara Purana. This isn't mythology. For millions, this is living truth. Our story begins in the most unexpected place. Not on earth, not even in our universe. It begins in Vaikunta, the divine realm where God Vishnu rests eternally with Goddess Lakshmi. A place where time doesn't exist, where the sacred bond is perfect, where nothing ever goes wrong. But one day, everything shattered. And it started with a simple test. A test that would break apart the cosmic couple and change the destiny of humanity forever. Who could have imagined that a sage's anger would lead to the world's richest temple? But wait, the real shock comes when you discover what the sage actually did to God himself. Picture this. Sage Bhrigu, one of the 7 great sages, had received an impossible mission from the Devas. Find out who among the Trinity is the greatest, Brahma, Vishnu or Shiva. His first stop, Brahmaloka. Lord Brahma was so absorbed in the act of creation that he didn't even notice the sage's arrival. Bhrigu felt insulted and cursed him. You will have no independent temples on earth. Next, Mount Kailash. God Shiva was in deep meditation with Parvati, no acknowledgement. Furious, Bhrigu declared, "You will be worshipped only as Lingam, never in human form." Finally, Vaikunta. God Vishnu was resting peacefully on Adisesha, with Goddess Lakshmi gently massaging his feet, the eternal picture of divine harmony. And then Bhrigu did something that shocked the entire cosmos. He kicked God Vishnu right on his chest, right on the Vakshasthala, the sacred spot where Lakshmi eternally resides. What happened next changed the course of cosmic history, and God's response will break your heart. But it's what happens next that creates the cosmic crisis. Instead of anger, God Vishnu immediately stood up with a gentle smile. He said, "Oh great sage, I hope your precious foot isn't hurt from striking my hard chest. Please, let me massage it and ease any pain." And as he lovingly pressed Bhrigu's foot, the Varaha Purana tells us he secretly pressed a point that dissolved the sage's ego, the eye of pride. Bhrigu was overwhelmed. Vishnu's infinite tolerance and compassion proved he was the greatest among the Trinity. But there was someone else watching this entire scene. Someone whose heart was shattering with every gentle word Vishnu spoke, Goddess Lakshmi. To her, this wasn't just tolerance, this was betrayal. How could you let someone kick the very place where I reside and then apologize to them? If you can tolerate such disrespect to my dwelling, perhaps you no longer value my presence. Sometimes, even divine couples have misunderstandings. And what followed would echo across the universe for eternity. What happens when the goddess of wealth abandons heaven? The answer will shock you. Lakshmi left Vaikunta without a word, without a goodbye. The goddess of wealth and prosperity simply vanished from the divine realm. She came to earth, to the Kolhapur region, her heart carrying the wound of feeling unprotected by her own beloved. And Vishnu? The Padma Purana describes his devastation in words that make even celestial beings weep. The Lord who maintains the entire universe couldn't maintain his own peace without his concern. Imagine the one being who had never experienced separation, suddenly feeling the agony that every human heart knows, the pain of losing your soulmate. So he too left Vaikunta. The sustainer of creation abandoned his cosmic duties and came to earth, searching for his beloved. He came to a place called as Venkatadri, today's Tirumala, but not as a magnificent God Vishnu in all his glory. He came disguised as a simple ascetic named Srinivasa. Look carefully at the main deity next time you visit Tirumala. Notice how he stands alone in a posture of eternal waiting. He is still waiting. But you won't believe what the other gods did to help him. It's the most humble act in the cosmic history. Srinivasa began the most intense penance the world has ever witnessed. Under a anthill on Venkatadri Hill for years and years, not eating, not moving, just calling out across the cosmos for his beloved to forgive him. But here's where our story became extraordinary. Brahma and Shiva realized the cosmic crisis. If Vishnu remained in penance, who would protect the universe from the chaos? They hatched a plan so humble, so beautiful, that it shows the true meaning of divine friendship. God Brahma, the creator of everything, became a cow. God Shiva, the destroyer of universe, became a calf. Yes, you heard that right. The two most powerful beings in creation became simple cattle, all to serve their heartbroken friend. They wandered into the kingdom of the Chola king, who was amazed by this divine cow that gave endless sweet milk. Every day, something miraculous happened that no one understood. The cow would lead the cowherd to Venkatadri Hill, position herself directly over a particular anthill, and empty all her milk into it. The poor cowherd was terrified. How could he return to the king with an empty cow? He would be punished, maybe even executed. Day after day, this continued. The mystery deepened. But when the cowherd finally discovers the truth, his reaction leads to something that will change everything. One day, the cowherd decided to follow secretly and solve this puzzle once and for all. What he discovered in the forest would change everything. He saw the cow pouring her divine milk into the anthill, nourishing what appeared to be a meditating sage hidden within. Rage consumed him. Some thief is stealing the royal milk. He raised his axe high and struck the anthill with all his might. Blood, divine blood, began to flow. The anthill cracked open and God Srinivasa emerged, crimson flowing from his forehead, the same spot where we apply tilak today. The moment that divine blood touched the earth, the entire cosmic order trembled. The cowherd fell dead instantly from the shock of realizing he had struck God himself. But here's what the Brahmanda Purana reveals. The god immediately revived him, because even in his pain, Vishnu's compassion remained infinite. But cosmic law demanded justice. You acted in ignorance, but ignorance doesn't absolve karma, Srinivasa declared. You will be reborn as a demon in your next life. But in the life after that, you will be born as a daughter of King Akasha Raja. And through you, the cosmic harmony will be restored. Remember this prophecy, it's the key to understanding everything that follows. Years passed, the Chola king, horrified by these events, built a shrine and began worshipping Srinivasa with deep devotion. But the real magic was yet to begin. Because somewhere on earth, the cosmic wheels of destiny were already turning. A king named Akasha Raja was about to discover something that would change the universe forever. And what he finds in his field will make you believe in destiny. King Akasha Raja was performing a sacred yajna. While plowing the ritual field with his own hands, his plow struck something extraordinary. A golden lotus emerged from the earth, glowing with divine light. Inside that lotus, a baby girl of unimaginable beauty, Padmavati. But she wasn't just any princess. She was an incarnation of Vedavati, who was herself an avatar of goddess Lakshmi. The same Lakshmi who had left Vaikunta in heartbreak was now born on earth as a human, destined to fulfill the divine purpose through earthy incarnation, experiencing the sacred bond in human form. Years passed, Padmavati grew into a young woman of extraordinary beauty and wisdom, but deep in her soul, she carried the memory of a cosmic cosmic bond, though veiled by the illusion of human birth. One day, she was in the royal garden when a wild elephant charged straight at her. A young hunter appeared from nowhere and saved her life. Their eyes met. It was Srinivasa. And in that moment, the universe itself seemed to pause and remember the eternal sacred bond. But now comes a part that explains why millions still donate to Tirumala, the cosmic loan that changed everything. Srinivasa was overcome with divine reunion. He wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep, couldn't focus on anything but this mysterious princess who had restored his cosmic purpose. But there was a problem. To marry a princess, even a divine being in human form, needed resources for a wedding worthy of cosmic royalty. So Srinivasa approached Kubera, the treasurer of the gods, with a request that stunned even the Lord of Wealth. The Bhavishottara Purana records this extraordinary conversation. Kubera, I need a loan. How much, my lord? 14 lakh gold coins. Kubera's eyes widened. Even by divine standards, this was an astronomical sum. But here's what will shock you. Kubera agreed, but with cosmic terms. This loan will carry interest to be paid until the end of Kali Yuga. Think about this, friends. The God who owns everything, who is everything, chose to take a loan. Why? Because he wanted to show every devotee who struggles with money. I understand. I've been there. Even God follows earthly rules when fulfilling dharma. But the wedding that followed broke every rule in the cosmos. And what happens next will explain everything you see at Tirumala today. The wedding was beyond magnificent. All the gods attended, celestial musicians provided music, divine flowers rained from the heaven. And at the moment Padmavati placed the garland around Srinivasa's neck, she remembered everything. She was Lakshmi, he was Vishnu. The separation was over. But here's the most beautiful part. Instead of returning to Vaikunta, they chose to remain on earth, on these 7 hills of Tirumala. The Varaha Purana records Srinivasa's eternal promise. Until the end of Kali Yuga, I will stay here. Any devotee who climbs these 7 hills with sincere devotion, I will grant them moksha, not just worldly success but liberation itself. Every rupee you drop in that hundi, it's still paying off that cosmic wedding loan. Every laddu you offer, an installment towards Kubera's debt. That tilak on his forehead, the eternal mark of the wound he took protecting divine purpose. His standing posture, still waiting for every soul to come home. This isn't ancient history, it's happening right now. When you stand in that queue for 20 hours, remember, he stood under an anthill for cosmic ages waiting for you. When you climb those sacred steps chanting Govinda, remember, he gave up the comfort of Vaikunta to stay accessible to you. When you offer your hair, your gold, your prayers, remember, he's still in debt because he chose divine purpose over cosmic luxury. This is why Tirumala isn't just a temple. It's a proof that your God isn't sitting distant in heaven counting your sins. He's here in debt, in service, in eternal devotion. The next time someone asks you why Tirupati is special, share the story, because every devotee deserves to know their God took a loan just to stay close to them. If this story touched your heart like it touched mine, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the Temple Girl for more stories that connect our ancient wisdom to modern hearts. And tell me in the comments, what's your Tirumala experience? Have you felt his presence on those sacred hills? Until next time, this is your Temple Girl reminding you the stories of our temples aren't mythology, they are divine promises, God's eternal promises to humanity. Govinda, Govinda.